What is going on, guys? Today is going to be one of those long and probably boring videos for some of you, but I'm going to try to do a full walkthrough of our latest update 6.4, which we released just a couple days ago. There's a lot of people who already watched it. There's a lot of people who already downloaded the app, downloaded the Commander version and have tried the features, but I understand that there are some differences between the different models and which feature fits which model. So I'm going to try to walk you a little bit more deeper into what customizations are available for you. So the first feature I want to start with is the actions on reverse. It's exactly how it sounds like. We have made it so you can map few different actions to be executed the moment you put your car into R or reverse. And why we have done this? Well, a lot of people have said, listen, whenever I go into reverse, I want something to happen. And the majority of you want to have a better visibility when parking at night. Especially this kind of car, which is older, it has the hardware too inside of it, so the camera is not so good, the display is not that great as well. So whenever it's dusk outside, you barely can see anything whenever you are in R. And that's why we have added rear fog lights to be enabled whenever you switch into reverse. So that gives extra illumination to your surroundings, and that way you can see a little bit better. I see a lot of you have emailed us asking why I do not see the fog light feature on my screen or on my app, or why when I enable it, nothing happens. Well, this is something we were not aware about. US built models are not equipped with rear fog lights. That's crazy. We didn't know about this. All cars in Europe have rear fog lights. I guess you guys in America don't have one, even if your car is a performance model, which is insane. Except one car. We have learned that the premium Model 3 Highland has the rear fog lights automatically installed inside the car. You don't have the option to enable them through your menu. However, you can do it now through our feature. That's crazy. You probably never knew about this. We never knew about this, but now when you have the actions on reverse active, your rear fog lights are going to be on. For you guys who have the Juniper model or the older Model 3Y, you're probably not going to be able to enable this. Sorry, you can complain to Elon Musk. The second thing we have also added is extra blinking of the stoplights. So the rear stoplights are going to be flashing constantly, which gives extra illumination for those of you who want to see even better. Some of you I see that asked why they're flashing, why you haven't done them to be on all the time. Well, the action that we made a long time ago, which is called dynamic brake lights, it's actually an action that's available in the car. The car itself activates it whenever you are driving with kind of a higher speeds, and then you press on the brake pedal a little bit more stronger, and then the rear brake lights start flashing rapidly. So we are using that signal to enable that feature, but maybe we can do it the way some of you have asked about. So give it a try. Let me know down in the comments if it works the way kind of it's intended to be used. And if you like it, we're going to continue giving you that option, but maybe we can change it for something else. I also see one comment which was very interesting. One guy said, why you don't make my hazard lights to start flashing whenever I shift the car into reverse? That's actually very smart. I'm not sure how it's in every country, but here in Europe, whenever you're reversing backwards, a lot of people are using their hazard lights at the same time. So maybe this is something that we're going to be adding here. And one more action was added to the actions on reverse, and that's muting all sounds. So there is a reason why we called it all sounds. It's not only because we are muting the outside speaker, which produces this UFO alien sound. We're actually muting everything inside the car because this is the signal we can use for that feature. So it's going to mute your phone calls, it's going to mute your navigation system, basically everything. Even your parking sensors are, or whenever your camera detects how close you are to an object, you're not going to hear any beeping from that as well. Some people are going to like that, some people are not going to like that. But the reason why we have made this feature is because some of you said, listen, I hate this sound, especially when I'm parking at night, late, right in front of my house. I'm waking up my family or my neighbors. I just wanted this feature to be off. And that's why we have added it. Now you have it. It's your opinion if you want to use it or not. You're going to see that your screen, your main screen gets dimmer. A lot of you think that we have made this on purpose. No. We're using a specific signal that puts the main screen into kind of like a dim mode. I don't know why this is done by Tesla, but we don't have control over this. However, if you use this feature at night, as we have done it for, you should not have any issues. Even when you activate mute all sounds, there is an extra toggle inside the app which asks you, do you want this feature to be only active at night or not? I'm going to be using it that way, but it's your opinion if you want to use it during the day as well. However, just realize that your screen is going to be very dim, so you might not be able to see very clearly, especially if there's a bright sunlight coming straight into your main screen. Hey guys, it's Anton from the future. I actually forgot to mention that we have one more action that we have added to the Commander with this update, which is the automatic dimming of the mirrors whenever you're in reverse. We have done this option because a lot of you have said, whenever I park at night, especially if I'm in a garage, I cannot see anything when I'm reversing. Well, that's why now with our automation, whenever you put your car into R, the mirrors are not gonna dim. But you have to know that if they are already been dimmed, it's going to take you between 15 and 20 seconds for this auto dimming option to turn off. That's how the entire system works. So give it a shot and let us know if it works for you or not. Now, let's continue forward. We have another feature that we have introduced, or actually it's an old feature, but we have improved it from your suggestions, and it's the actions upon approach. If you're not aware about the actions upon approach, is a feature which opens your driver's door whenever you approach your car. If you have our Commander installed at the front right A pillar, this is the place where the Commander stays awake for a certain amount of time, usually about 15 minutes before the car goes into a deep sleep. That said, that this works across all the cars except, I should say, across all Model 3 Ys except the Juniper model. On the Juniper, whenever you exit the car is going to immediately fall asleep, which unfortunately is going to make this feature unavailable for you. But we have found a workaround a few months ago where whenever you exit the car, you can do a special trigger where if you push your open door button from the inside once or twice, you're going to activate keep mode, which is going to keep the car awake until you come back, which is usually up to 2 hours, right? So then when you come back to the car, the door is going to open. However, many of you said, listen, I have my Sentry mode enabled. Why should I have also my keep mode enabled? That's wasting energy twice more. And you are right. And that's why what we've done with this update 6.4, you can go enable this feature to be only active whenever your Sentry mode is on. And that way, whenever you leave your car, and you do the trigger part with the open door button, the car is going to stay awake, the feature is going to stay awake too, and wait for you to return back to the car, just like now. So I'm going to walk to the car. So the car right now is locked. Whenever I approach this area, the door should automatically open for me, just like that. So I just want to mention actually one more extra thing. Some of you said, listen, it doesn't work for me. So what we have found out from the hundreds of communications we have done with our clients is that it all depends what model you own and also what kind of phone you own. So for instance, I own an iPhone, and for me, the communication between the car and the phone usually happens around this part or this part of the car, which means if I approach it from the trunk area, it's actually not going to open for me. So I have to kind of come a little bit extra to the side around this area, and the phone does a great communication with the car and the feature gets executed. But again, it all depends on your model. You know, there's different chips, especially the Bluetooth chip is different for all the model. The communication part is definitely not the same. And there's one more action with this update for the Commander, which is inside the ambient light effect feature, and it's called open door warning. So it's all the way on the bottom. So just scroll down, you're gonna find it. And if you own a Juniper or a Highland model, you're gonna enjoy this one because it activates only, or actually it triggers the light bar on one of the doors, which is open, to start flashing in a specific color. So for my instance, I have done it to flash in red. So whenever I open the door, that door just pulses. You know how Tesla doors are? Whenever you close it, sometimes it's actually not closed, so you have to slam it a little bit more. So that way I know actually which door it is. I can see it with my eyes. Or whenever my passengers are going out of the car, whenever they open the door, and it's at night, somebody who is driving by, they can actually see it a little bit better. So I believe that's a great safety warning feature, which I believe everybody's going to enjoy. You just one toggle, activate it, choose your color, bam, super simple. But let's move a little bit more forward. Let's talk a little bit more about the strip, because there's a lot of improvements there. There's so many great comments in the comment section of our videos praising what we have done. But guys, we've we have always wanted to do it because we read your comments from the previous videos. You asked for it, so we had to deliver, and it's the edge feature for the strip. What we have done is now you can split which part of the bar shows your turn signals and blind spot warnings. Before that, you can choose between having the entire bar flash in a specific color or just half of the segment, which is left or right. Many of you said, why do you flash the entire bar for one warning? Can you just do it on the edges? And this is what we have done with this update. So now whenever you go in the setting and whenever you go, let's say in blind spot or turn signals, and you scroll down, there is an option which is called half or edge. Whenever you press on it, you're going to be able to see it only on the outer edges. Originally, it's going to be about 15 segments. So the bar is going to light up at, I don't know how you say it in English, 15 diodes or something like this. You can actually customize and make it wider or narrower by just moving the number up or down. So you can go all the way down to 10 and all the way up to 20 segments. Why we have done this? I saw some people asking why we have done that. Well, the sitting position of everybody is a little bit different. So whenever you're sitting a little bit lower, the steering wheel might cover that left part. So if you have to make it a little bit longer so you can see it past your steering wheel and past your arms wherever you're holding it. But again, just a customization is something what we do. So far, you can use 3 actions with the edge feature. It's the turn signals, it's the blind spots, and also you can use it for the hazard lights, which is all part of the turn signal ecosystem, let's put it that way. To be honest, we're not sure if we're gonna extend it to any other features. I don't think it makes sense to know when your autopilot is on the outer edges. I feel like everything should be on. But I read one interesting comment, which I believe is from a guy who comes and suggests this to us every single month in every single video, and it's just do all the actions to be shown in front of the driver only, which means if I put my left turn signal, only the left part blinks, but if I put my right turn signal, only the right part in front of the driver blinks. That's an interesting suggestion. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do it or we're going to do it, but let me know down in the comments how does it sound. For me, it's a little bit weird because the bar is going to be red on this end, then green on this end, then red on this end. I don't know, it's a little bit too much, I believe. Let's move to the second feature of the strip, which a lot of you are also enjoying right now. It's the KITT's night radar animation. It's a little bit hard for me to pronounce it. From the TV series back in the days, you know, the car that has the right bar flashing in red, left and right whenever you speak to it. But we've done the same to our sexy strip. A lot of people have asked, can you also do this for the Tesla integrated ambient light? Well, you cannot, or we cannot do it because the Tesla's light bar is not that advanced as ours. We can control every single pixel on ours, and in Tesla, we can only control it as a whole segment, left or right. So this feature, it's mainly for, you know, just to make it a little bit cooler. You can set it as your default animation, or some people actually, I've seen already videos how they do it in an autopilot animation. So whenever you trigger your autopilot or FSD, the bar starts moving left to right, which is pretty cool. And I guarantee you, everybody who has been into another Tesla and then comes to yours, because it's going to be very pleasantly surprised. I believe you're going to enjoy that for sure. Check it out. It's inside the settings. So you have to go inside the animation of each feature that you want to add it to. Right now, you can control it as your greeting animation, sentry mode animation, as I said, autopilot drives, and also speed warning animation. So whenever you drive above the speed limit, the KITT's warning system is going to trigger and it's going to tell you that you're driving too fast. And the last thing that we've done for the strip is we have added nighttime and daytime mode. Actually, this is not new. We have added it probably a month ago, but a lot of people are not aware. I'm going to tell you where the problem comes from. So before, when we first released the strip, we made it to be perfectly dim at night, and a lot of you were happy. However, how the RGB system works, whenever you want to have a mixed color of something, let's say you want to have purple, you have to trigger multiple colors, right? It's not only red or it's not only blue, it's a mixture of colors, which means that every single color that we trigger needs to be at least at level 1, which if you activate 3 colors at the same time to make like a nice animation of something, that's actually 3 times the brightness of a single color. And that way, a lot of you were kind of confused. Why is it so bright? It bothers me, and so on and so on. So now we have done some changes, and what you can do, you can set up a specific color and a specific brightness level for the daytime mode and the nighttime mode. What this means is whenever your main screen switches from light theme to a dark theme, our bar is also going to switch with the same color and the brightness that you have chosen from the app. I believe a lot of you are going to be happy. I understand your point. Some of you are driving in very dark areas. I live in a big city. It's pretty bright outside. The level 1 was never bad for me, but for a lot of you who live in rural areas, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, it's probably going to be a little bit too bright, but now with this new feature, it's gonna be perfect. Now, let's move forward. We have added actions for the buttons. Let me go inside the buttons actions. So by the way, how can you find all the actions? So first of all, you can go inside the settings of your commander or your app in general. You can read our release notes. Also, we write detailed blog posts where we can try to mention all of the features available, and obviously our YouTube link is the way to go, where you can watch our previous update video or this one, which is going to be telling you everything about this update. So the first feature we have added is one which is going to trigger the track mode on the Juniper performance model cars. We had this feature before for the previous performance cars, but not for the Juniper, and now you can do it. Again, you're not going to be able to see it on the main screen because for some reason Tesla doesn't want to unlock this feature for you yet. We all believe that that's going to happen eventually, but not for now. But with our products, whenever you press the button, you can go inside the Sexy app. You know, you can use our app for a dashboard, and up over here it's going to say track mode for you, which means you're going to be able to hear also your car starting its cooling system. It's going to preheat the battery at the same time. The motors will start, ramping up because the car thinks that you're going to go on a track. Also, what you can do, you can customize the dash just by simply tapping here and choosing which stat you want to look at. So if you go on a track, what you want to see is the temperature of your battery, the temperature of your motors. You also want to see your peak power, the available peak power of your battery and the motors, and everything that's important for you. But also what you can watch is the estimated brake temperature of each wheel. So this is something that nobody has been able to see so far. Now though, with our app and all the stats that you can watch, you can see what is the temperature. So for the normal driver who just sits and drives to work, that's not going to be important. But if you like to go on track, that's a feature that you're going to enjoy because, I'm not a track guy, but I know for you guys, it's very important to know at what temperatures your brakes are so you know what to perform, when the cooling laps should start, and when you can start pushing your car harder. What else we have added with the track settings for the performance model? Especially for the Highland and Juniper, you can control the adaptive damping. This is something so far you were able to do from the main screen, but it was a little silly because you need to go inside the options, then to driving settings, and then scroll down and do the, whatever you have to do. Now you can do it through our buttons and the Sexy knob. You just assign one button to go into comfort and a double press to go back into the default settings. And there you go. Just with a simple press, you're going to see that. Now, again, it's not going to be reflected on the Tesla's main screen because a lot of people say, why it's not visible? What we do is we control the CAN communication of the car. We send a signal through the CAN messaging system to the right unit, which execute that action. Everything that you see on the main screen, it's kind of a different system. So it's controlled by the MCU, which we don't have access to, so we cannot tell your car what visualization to do. If it happens, it's great, but most of the time it's not going to happen. However, that's why we have the Sexy app. That's why we have the Sexy dash also, so you can see everything running there. And also, if you're a performance model, not only with the Juniper though, but also with the Legacy Model 3RY, you can control your stability and handling. What this means is that the handling system or the handling option is going to give you the option to change the output of your motor. So you can make it into a fully rear-wheel drive car or a front-wheel drive car, or you can set it somewhere in between, because I hear that people who go on an ice track, they like to set it 80 to 20, so 80 in the back and 20 in the front. Before, you were not able to do it unless you're in track mode and you do it through the screen. Now you can do it with our products. And the stability gives you the option to kind of lower. It doesn't turn off the ESP, it just kind of lowers its performance, so it allows you to unlock your wheels to spin a little bit more, but it's not like the drift mode feature that we provide. Again, it gives you a little bit more fun experience, let's put it that way, but if you want to have a full drift mode experience, make sure to see our drift mode feature inside the app and just enjoy it. Now let's move forward. A few more features have been added to the buttons and the knob. One of them is the pedestrian chime warning. So a lot of you have asked about, can we control or can we open the option for you to trigger the fart sound whenever you're driving? Guys, we cannot do that, unfortunately. However, we found a way how we can trigger a specific sound, and it's the same sound which is used whenever you open your trunk, like a light beep, and we assigned it to your outside speaker to be played whenever you press our buttons on the knob or the Sexy buttons. So why is this feature useful for? Well, it's for those who kind of don't want to piss off the people in front of them. So if you have stopped at, let's say, a traffic light and there's somebody sitting on a bike right in front of you, you kind of don't want to stress him with a loud horn. Just beep to him with our feature. Or whenever you're driving in a kind of like a quieter area in a neighborhood, you can use our feature instead of the horn, so you are not like the jackass that everybody's going to be turning their head after and, you know, just hating you. And then from the future back again, guys, I forgot to mention that this feature only works on the brand new Highland and Juniper models, as well as the Model S and X, which are produced after 2020. Unfortunately, we've been trying to make it work on the legacy models. I see that a lot of you are asking, please make it happen. Well, if we find a workaround, we're definitely gonna open it for you. The second thing we have also added is a new control for the sexy knob, and it's an option to go inside a special screen which is used only for autopilot drives. I would say about half a year ago we have added a feature which you can assign to the knob, which changes its pages based on your drive state. So whenever you are in D or drive, the page can go into a, let's say, page number 2, and whenever you are in reverse, the page is going to go into, you know, page number 3. The reason behind this is we wanted to kind of keep you on the extra step of rotating the dial whenever you're in those gear states. And you can assign your favorite features for that gear state. So whenever you're in reverse, you don't need track mode, right? So maybe create a special page for reverse. But so many of you said, do one for the autopilot. Well, now you have this option. So whenever you trigger your auto steer or FSD, the page is going to shift into a different page, but not unless you have chosen to do that from the sexy app. So go inside the knob settings menu, and then whenever you say there's main homepage section by gear, and then there's all the options that you can choose from. So park, drive, reverse, and autopilot. You can choose which page you want to have it on the autopilot drives. I don't know. The knob became such a complex tool. There's so many features already. We are even forgetting some of them. But again, we're trying to make you happy. So wherever you request, we give it to you. Now, one of the biggest things that we have also done with this update is the release of the light theme for the Sexy Dash. Wow, you have no idea how much we were waiting for this. We had to prioritize, you know, the disconnection issues we had with the first few units that we sent to some of the Juniper and Highland models. Now though, we were able to do it, we released it, and it's not perfect, but it's 99.9% great. What this means is now whenever you are driving, you can go inside the dash itself, inside its settings, and there's an option to have an auto setting for the, you know, the brightness level and the theme, so which is going to match your Tesla screen brightness and Tesla screen theme. Why is this so useful and why I'm so excited? Well, the black version of the Sexy Dash is great, but not especially when it's a sunny day, because there's a lot of reflection going on. Now with the light theme, the reflection is totally gone, and you're going to be able to clearly see what's happening in front of you. Few of you have actually pointed out some of the bugs that you were able to already catch with this light theme. One of them is that whenever you are in CarPlay or Android Auto, there's like a black box running underneath. We are aware of this. We are working on this. You know, it's just a little bit hard because the Sexy Dash is the most complex product we have done. Now we have to work with third-party integration systems. Before that, we were only working with, you know, with our own products and Tesla. Now we have to also consider CarPlay and Android Auto. So there's too many, you know, moving pieces, and we just need to focus a little bit more on that. But that's going to be fixed eventually. Also, somebody pointed out that whenever you are in light theme, the drive state is not very visible. It's kind of, we need to kind of change the background color behind the chosen state. That's a good point. I looked into your video, sir. You're absolutely right. We're going to work on that as well. And everything else you guys have mentioned, we are reading it. We have a full dedicated team which is trying to go through all of your emails and all of your comments. We have a special file that we write all your suggestions, and then whenever time comes, we see which suggestion have the most votes, and then we are trying to implement it. So if you were thinking that something is going to be released in this update because you have suggested it last time, well, just be a little bit more patient. Maybe it was just not the time, or maybe you're one of the few people that have suggested it and we had to wait for bigger, larger groups to join in. But eventually we're gonna make almost everything happen. Well, guys, I think I covered everything. I was a little bit in a rush because there's a lot of things going on. Probably by the time you watch this video, you're still gonna be able to see our sale that's currently running on our website, which is, again, enhauto.com. Go ahead, check it out. 20% off on almost everything except the Sexy Dash. The Sexy Dash is still on pre-order. We have too many orders to go through. So sorry about that. I see a lot of people are disappointed. But thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for enjoying this update. New updates are gonna come eventually, I promise. And a lot of you are gonna be also very happy. I'm gonna see you in the next one, guys.